Bonjour, bonjour, comment allez-vous? Bienvenue. Hello everyone and welcome. I hope that you're all doing well and that you're excited because today we'll be looking at greetings and introductions in French. So without further ado, let's get right into it. On y va. Après toi, let's go. Alright, so first things first, let's say les salutations. Les salutations, that is greetings. So we know these already, right? Well, some of them. We all know the very infamous bonjour. Bonjour. And that means hello or good morning, okay? Bonjour. And then we have good old bon après-midi. Bon après-midi. Bon après-midi. Bon après-midi. That's good afternoon. Répétez. Bon après-midi. Alright. Then we have bonsoir. Bonsoir. That is used after 6 p.m. and it means good evening. And then we have bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. And that means good night. And we use it when we're going to bed. So let's go again. I'll say it, you can repeat. Let's go. Bonjour. Bonjour. Bon après-midi. Bon après-midi. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Et bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Okay, let's continue. Practice makes perfect. Donc, il faut pratiquer. You have to practice. Okay? Alright, let's look at how we say goodbye. We have au revoir. Au revoir. That means goodbye. Au revoir. We may also say à la prochaine. À la prochaine. À la prochaine. À la prochaine. Okay. We also have à bientôt. À bientôt. À bientôt. À bientôt. See you soon. Alright. Then these last two are informal. Salut can mean hi as well, but you also use it to say bye. Please note it is an informal expression, meaning you mostly use it with your friends, family, persons you're acquainted with. In a formal setting, you would not necessarily use salut, okay? At least textbook version of French, we're not going to be using salut to greet someone in a formal setting. Okay, someone that we're just meeting for the first time, we wouldn't necessarily say salut. Alright, so salut. And then we have ciao. Ciao. Ciao means bye, and this too is informal, so you use it with your friends, with your families, family members, persons you're familiar with, okay? But if you're greeting, let's say, the president, or you went on a job interview, or you're speaking to your school principal, you wouldn't necessarily say ciao or salut, okay? So let's go again. Au revoir. À la prochaine. À bientôt. Salut. Ciao. Alright, I hope you're doing really well. You'll get the hang of this through practice. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so after having looked at the different ways to say bonjour, hello, au revoir, goodbye, salut, hi, ciao, bye, let's look at how we would introduce ourselves in French, right? So let's say you're at a new school. Of course, it's a French-speaking new school, huh? And the teacher says, allez, introduisez-vous, introduce yourself, right? You say something like, bonjour, je me présente. Bonjour, je me présente. And that means, hello, let me introduce myself. Bonjour, je me présente. Hello, let me introduce myself. Okay, so I'm going to repeat it and you're going to repeat after me. Bonjour, je me présente. Bonjour, je me présente. Hi, Hi, hello, good morning. Let me introduce myself. So let's look at another expression which you already know, right? So I'm going to say it first and you tell me what I'm saying. I'm saying bonjour, je me présente. Je m'appelle Mademoiselle Taylor. Bonjour, je me présente. Je m'appelle Mademoiselle Taylor. What have I just said? Yes, hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Miss Taylor, okay? So we looked at je me présente, let me introduce myself, and we also looked at bonjour, je m'appelle, which we already knew as well from the first class, okay? So bonjour, je m'appelle, hello, my name is, and you add your name after that. Let's look at what else we can say, which other vocabulary we can use to introduce ourselves. Alright, you could say j'ai 11 ans. J'ai 11 ans. And that means I am 11 years old. J'ai 11 ans. Okay? You could also say j'ai 12 ans. J'ai 12 ans. I am 12 years old. J'ai 12 ans. J'ai 12 ans. I am 12 years old. If you're 13, you say j'ai 13 ans. J'ai 13 ans. J'ai 13 ans. 11, 12, 13. J'ai 11 ans. Répétez. J'ai 11 ans. J'ai 12 ans. Répétez. Oui. Et j'ai 13 ans. J'ai 13 ans. J'ai 13 ans. Okay? So depending on your age, you'll employ the one that is applicable to you. So we've learned how to say, let me introduce myself, our name, how old we are. What else could we say to introduce ourselves? Beautiful. We could say, j'habite à Kingston. J'habite à Kingston. J'habite à Kingston. J'habite à Kingston. I live in Kingston. If you live in Montego Bay, you'd say j'habite à Montego Bay. If you live in St. James, j'habite à St. James. If you live in St. Anne, j'habite à St. Anne. No matter the parish, no matter the town, you're going to say j'habite à. J'habite à Kingston, j'habite à Portmore, j'habite à St. Catherine, j'habite à St. Thomas, St. Thomas. Okay, alright, so that is how you say I live in whichever parish or city. If it's a country, you'll be saying something a bit different. You won't be using a. Alright, so after everything we have just seen, what would we say je means? Based on everything we have just looked at, what does je mean? Je here. Does it have this strange one here, G apostrophe? Why is it so strange in its life? What does it mean? Huh? If you guessed I, you are correct. Je means I. Okay? So you have just learned our first pronoun, our first French pronoun. Je means I. But what about G apostrophe? That also means I. The reason that we get G apostrophe is simply because we would have dropped the E from je. We would have dropped the E from je and put an apostrophe because the word that follows it begins with a vowel like A-I, je, which means to have, or silent H. So when the word that follows je begins with a vowel or a silent H, then we would drop the E as we did down here and put an apostrophe. Okay, so we just learned a very important thing. So when you see G apostrophe, it's not, you know, a strange contraption. It's good old je, just in contraction form. Okay, let's continue. Alright, so let's look at our first activity. We are going to match the French expression to the English meaning. Alright, so first of all we have je me présente. Je me présente. Secondly we have bonjour, je m'appelle. Bonjour, Je m'appelle. Thirdly, we have j'ai 11, 12 ou 13 ans. Fourthly, we have j'habite à Kingston. J'habite à Kingston. And finally, we have bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Nuit, like N-W-E-E. N-W-E-E, that's how it's pronounced. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Alright? So, go ahead and guess. Well, we did it, so we're gonna just jump right into it. Je me présente. What does that mean? Do we remember? It means let me introduce myself. Huh? Bonjour, je m'appelle. Facile, really easy. That means hello. My name is. J'ai 11, 12, 13 ans means I am 11, 12, 13 years old. J'habite à Kingston. J'habite à Kingston. I live in Kingston, right? If at any point in time we're doing an activity and you want to try it first, just go ahead and pause the video and then try it for yourself and then test to see if you got them right. And bonne nuit means bonne nuit means good night. Only option left. Okay? So I hope we're all retaining. We did well with it in class. Let's continue. Second activity on Eva. Let's see what you got. So we're going to be matching the question to the response. The questions are on the right and the responses that we have already encountered are on the left. Please note we already encountered some of these questions, all of these questions actually, in the video that we watched in the first class. So let's see if we can look and deduce meaning. So let's go. So if somebody says bonjour, je m'appelle, what question do you think they were asked? Bonjour, je m'appelle. Oui. That is indeed correct. If you said comment t'appelles-tu? Répétez s'il vous plaît. Repeat please. Comment t'appelles-tu? Comment t'appelles-tu? Répétez. That's indeed correct. What is your name? Comment t'appelles-tu? That means what is your name? Point of information. Whenever you encounter this tu right here, this tu, it's an informal tu. You only use it with your friends and your family members. There are two ways to say you in French. Yeah, not just in France, but in French, in the language. Huh? So there are two ways to say you in French. You use an informal you with your friends, with your associates, with persons you're close to, family members. But you'll use a more formal you, which is vous, with persons you do not know, persons you're meeting for the first time, as a sign of respect, right? But we'll look at that in another class. Don't get your little heads mixed up. Let's just take it one step at a time. Just point of information. So tu means you, and it's an informal you. So comment t'appelles-tu means what is your name. So if I ask you comment t'appelles-tu, you'd say bonjour, je m'appelle, and you put your name, okay? The next one, j'ai 11, 12, 13 ans. Which question do you think goes with that response? It would be indeed, quel âge as-tu? J'ai 18 ans. Moi j'ai 20 ans. Okay, so it would be quel âge as-tu? Quel âge as-tu? Right? Quel âge as-tu? How old are you? Quel âge as-tu? Let me just give you this vocabulary as well. ENS, on. That means years. J'ai 11, 12, 13 ans. I am 11, 12, or 13 years old. Okay? At another time, I'm going to give you some information on this verb right here. But not today. Let's take it one step at a time. So, quel âge as-tu? Répétez s'il vous plaît. Quel âge as-tu? Super. Très bien. Quel âge as-tu? So, you respond by saying, j'ai 11, 12 ou 13 ans. All right. The next one. So the response that we're seeing here is j'habite à Kingston. J'habite à Kingston. That means what? I live in Kingston. I'm a Kingstonian. I live in Kingston, okay? J'habite à Kingston. Now, which question do you think we would have been asked for us to say j'habite à Kingston? Beautiful. You are indeed correct if you said où habites-tu? Où habites-tu? You know, I'm not saying habites. You know, this I say habites. That's not what I'm saying. I said où habites-tu? Alright? You learn as you go along the different rules of pronunciation, right? So we don't pronounce the S's and the T's, etc. at the end of French words normally unless they're followed by an E. Alright? So où habites-tu? Right? Points of information. Où means where. Habite means live. And you, we know that you is you. Alright? So où habites-tu is where do you live, girl? Where do you live, man? Where you been living at? Okay? And then finally we have je vais bien. Je vais bien. What does that mean? Je vais bien. Répétez s'il vous plaît. Je vais bien. Répétez. It is the same. It's the same meaning as saying ça va bien. Now we know that ça va bien means I'm doing real good, man. I'm well. Okay? So je vais bien is a more formal expression, right? That we would use if we're saying I am well. Je vais bien. Je vais bien. That is saying I am well. Okay? Alright. And so je vais bien, ça va bien. There are two responses that remain, and the truth is that either of these questions could have been asked. Right? You could have been asked comment ça va or comment vas-tu? Comment vas-tu? Comment ça va? Both of them mean how are you doing? Okay, and they're both informally asked, informally structured. Okay? Comment vas-tu? Répétez s'il vous plaît. Comment vas-tu? How are you doing? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Répétez s'il vous plaît. Repeat, please. Comment ça va? Wonderful. So just keep that practice going. Comment vas-tu? Comment ça va? How are you doing? Okay? And the response to that would be je vais bien. I am doing well. Ça va bien? Huh? I am doing well. It's going good. So let's go over this really quickly. We have bonjour, je m'appelle. Right, that's the response. Let me do the question first. Okay? So we have comment t'appelles-tu? Comment t'appelles-tu? Répétez s'il vous plaît. Comment t'appelles-tu? That means what is your name? Right? And you would respond by saying bonjour, je m'appelle. Wonderful. Next one. Quel âge as-tu? Quel âge as-tu? That means how old are you? Literally translated, it means let me not put it. We'll do that in another class. Quel âge as-tu? Right? How old are you? And you respond by saying j'ai 11, 12, 13 ans. I am 11, 12 or 13 years old. Quel âge as-tu? Hein? Toi? Oui. Okay. Tu as 12 ans? You're 12 years old? Super. Wonderful. Alright. Next one. We have où habites-tu? Où habites-tu? Où habites-tu? Right? That means, what does it mean? It means where do you live? And you respond by saying j'habite à Kingston if you live in Kingston. J'habite à Paris. I live in Paris if you live in Paris. J'habite à New York if you live in New York. J'habite à Copenhagen if you're in that German. Yeah. So wherever you live, you say j'habite à and you put the city. Okay? Next one is comment vas-tu? Comment vas-tu? Comment vas-tu? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Both of them mean how are you doing? And you'd respond by saying je vais bien or ça va bien. Je vais bien or ça va bien. Super, that wasn't so hard, was it? So let's continue. Keep hope alive, guys. Look alive. We're doing this. We're getting this. On y va. Alright, now that we're all masters of this vocabulary, let's put it into practice. Okay, so Pierre is meeting Nancy for the first time, right? In the dialogue below, where there are blank spaces, fill in the blanks in French with the questions or responses that apply. Alright, so you're going to be using your little noggins, you're going to be using your brains, vos cerveaux, to indicate the vocabulary, right? You're going to fill in the blanks with the French expressions that apply. So let's start with Pierre. Pierre says, bonjour, comment ça va? And Nancy, what would she say? What would Nancy say? She could say, ça va bien, merci. Ça va bien, merci. What does merci mean? M-E-R-C-I-M-E-R-C-I. That means thank you. I am well, thank you. Ça va bien, merci. I am well, thank you. Once again, if you want to just pause the video and then go ahead and try to put in the answers yourself and come back to it, that's fine. Totally do that. I endorse that move. So Pierre asked Nancy, bonjour, comment ça va? He said, bonjour, comment ça va? Nancy responded by saying, ça va bien, merci. Looks like Nancy's having a good day. She looks so bougie. I don't know. Right? But what else could Nancy have said? She could have said je vais bien, merci. She could have said je vais bien, merci. She could have also said what? If she was not doing well, what could she have said? She could have said ça va mal. She could have said ça va mal. Or she could have said je vais mal. Take out the bien and put mal. She could have said ça va mal. Huh? Ça va mal. Or she could have said je vais mal. Okay? But she wouldn't put merci. She wouldn't put merci. She wouldn't say thank you if she was not doing well. Right? I don't think so. Right? So those are some of the options that she could have used in response to Pierre's question of comment ça va. Alright, then she says something right here. She says, et toi? Et toi? What do you think that means? So Pierre says, bonjour, comment ça va? Nancy says, ça va bien, merci, or je vais bien, merci, or je vais mal, or ça va mal. And then she says, et toi? What do you think that means? You're indeed correct. It means and you. If you said and you, it means that is correct. It means and you, right? Then what could Pierre have responded? He could have said also, je vais bien, merci. Or he could have said, comme ci, comme ça, so, here, there, everywhere. You know, I'm not good, I'm not bad, I'm somewhere in between. Je vais bien, merci, or comme ci, comme ça. Okay? These are the response options that you have. Alright? Then Pierre would have said, comment t'appelles-tu? Comment t'appelles-tu? Let's look at part of Nancy's response to figure out what she is supposed to be answering. Alright, so we see that she has her name here, Nancy Lawrence. So we know that Pierre is asking her, what's your name, girl? Right? He's saying, girl, what's your name? He said, comment t'appelles-tu? And Nancy would say, facile, easy response, what is it? Je m'appelle Nancy Lawrence. Et toi? And et toi means and you. Je m'appelle Nancy Lawrence. Et toi? What would Pierre now say? Moi? That's just there for emphasis. The moi means me, okay? And that's just there for emphasis. He could have said simply, he's saying his name as well. He would say, je m'appelle Pierre Gary. Okay, what kind of name is that? Je m'appelle Pierre Gary. Hein? Moi, je m'appelle Pierre Gary. Now Nancy says, enchanté, Monsieur Gary. Enchanté. Huh? She says, enchanté. What does enchanté mean? and I want you to take note of the fact, you're going to see the difference shortly, that this one has two E's. Alright? That's because Nancy is a female. So the word is normally enchanté with one E at the end, and we're pronouncing this E because it has an accent over it. Accent aigu. That accent there is called accent aigu. We'll look at these accents in another class. So Nancy says, Enchanté, Monsieur Gary. What does enchanté mean? It means pleased to meet you. I'm pleased as punch to meet you. I'm so happy to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Nancy says, Enchanté, Monsieur Gary. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Gary. And then she says something else, a blanc âge blanc. Now look at Pierre's response to figure out what it is that she is asking him. He says 33 ans. So what do you think she's asking him? He has to learn to read context clues, right? The answer is always given as well in the dialogue. So she says, Enchanté, enchanté, Monsieur Gary. Et, oui, quel âge as-tu? Et quel âge as-tu? How old are you? Right? So Pierre says what? What would Pierre say in response? He would say, J'ai 33 ans. I am 33 years old. Right? We need to look at our numbers from 1 to 30. And then he says, Et toi? And you? I am 33 years old. J'ai 33 ans. Et toi? And she would simply say, Moi, me, simply for emphasis, j'ai 28 ans. J'ai 28 ans. I am 28 years old. When you're doing your dialogues, you don't have to put, I'm not expecting you to put the moi right here. Those are just there for emphasis, to, you know, make it flow like a dialogue, I suppose. But I wouldn't expect you to put those I would expect you to put those in your dialogues. So there we go. So going from the top, bonjour, comment ça va? Nancy says, ça va bien, merci. Et toi? Pierre, je vais bien, merci. Comment t'appelles-tu? Nancy would say, je m'appelle Nancy Lawrence. Et toi? Pierre would say, je m'appelle Pierre Gary. Nancy says, enchanté, Monsieur Gary. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Gary. Et quel âge as-tu? How old are you? Pierre says, j'ai 33 ans. Et toi? Nancy says, moi, me, moi, j'ai 28 ans. I am 28 years old. Please remember, pay close attention to this one right here, enchanté, right? Very good vocabulary to note, very important vocabulary. Because Nancy is a female, we have made enchanté agree with Nancy by adding a second E. Okay? We are going to see exactly what that means shortly. Let's go. So Pierre says, super. Super. That means great. Super. Okay? Super. Enchanté, Nancy. Enchanté, Nancy. So you see what I was talking about before? Enchanté has one E here, but this also means pleased to meet you. It's the male version, because in French the adjectives agree in gender and in number. So Pierre is a guy, so he's going to say enchanté with one E. Alright, well, that's the natural spelling of the word. When it was about Nancy on the previous slide, it was enchanté with two E's, because enchanté had to agree with Nancy. Alright, so we'll learn more about that going forward. So just note, enchanté, one E with an accent aigu, is for males. Enchanté with the two E's at the end is for females. Alright? The person says, super, enchanté, Nancy, Nancy, salut et à bientôt. Super, it's great, nice to meet you, Nancy. Bye bye, see you soon. Then Nancy says, au revoir, Pierre, à bientôt. Or she could say, ciao, Pierre, à bientôt. Or she could say, salut, Pierre, à bientôt. Okay, bye, 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 Pierre. See you soon. Alright, so that was easy as 1, 2, 3, right? Now we're ready and we're raring to go with our own dialogues, right? Let's see ce que ça donne. Let's see putting this together in short order. Okay, so we're just about ready to utilize all of the beautiful expressions we just learned in French, right? And so when you wake up in the morning, be like, ah, bonjour, maman. Bonjour, maman. Good morning, mommy. Right? When you're going to bed at night, be like, bonne nuit, papa. Bonne nuit. Huh? Good night, daddy. Okay, when it's lunchtime, bon après-midi tout le monde. Good afternoon, everybody. Bonsoir, ma voisine. Good evening, my neighbor. Huh? Bust the French man, everybody, man, and practice it. Because when you practice it, that your tongue is gonna get, used to it. You're gonna get used to it. Basically, you'll be able to learn it more easily when you make it a part of your everyday life in any way, shape, or form that you can, so that when you get into exam conditions, you're not stressed, you're not freaking out. All right. So here are some useful expressions to put the icing on the cake. All right. So we have, for example, bonne chance. Bonne chance. That means good luck. Good luck. You're gonna do an exam. Bonne chance. Bonne chance. What am I saying? Bonne chance. Good luck. Okay. If you're going overseas to America, not a good idea right now, but okay. If you're going to America, for example, wherever you're going to on vacation somewhere, you'd say bon séjour. Someone will tell you bon séjour. Enjoy your stay. Bon séjour. Okay. If you're taking a plane again, same thing. You'd say bon voyage. Not entirely the same thing, but you're going on a plane, you're taking a trip somewhere, you're traveling by boat, you're traveling in a way, shape, or form. You say bon voyage, safe travel. Okay? Bon voyage, safe travel. Right? And if you're going to take some exams, because you got to do those in life and it's coming. Yeah. So if you're going to be doing some exams, for example, if you're going to the dentist to pull a tooth, if I don't know what else is perhaps not the most exciting thing for us at this age, but you could say bon courage, right? Somebody would say to you bon courage if you're going to take an exam, if you're going to pull a tooth, if you're going to do something that is perhaps nerve-wracking. Bon courage, all the best, take heart, courage, huh? Take heart, be strong, ça va aller quoi, it's gonna be okay, huh? À tout à l'heure, ciao ciao, bye, and I will give you further instructions for your assignment. À tout à l'heure, au revoir, bye.